KandiShow, episode 7. Today's March 15th, 2021. It's 1:15 p.m. My name is Vinny.
I'm Alec.
I got to tell him the time every time. I've been doing it every other one. All right, first and foremost, I want to make sure I have this plugged in correctly. We've had some type of audio issue for each of the first 6 podcasts. Last one was going really well. Our volume was good, but my big thing is I got to make sure I talk into the mic, and of course I was playing with it too much. In the last 10 minutes of the podcast, it unplugged. So, but now we're here. Let's get right into my favorite time of the year, Bracketology. Scroll down real quick. I'm just curious what they're saying about this Ohio player.
When I click on, okay.
What?
It's just I have to switch.
Okay, my bad.
But it's all good.
Okay, it just says why is Bill accepting multiple upsets in the West region. Had a picture of the Ohio guy. All right, so let's go straight into Bracketology. I have a bunch of deep dives just because I have a lot of money into March Madness. But so we can start wherever you want to start.
My tickets out?
I got my tickets on my pictures ready to go.
Yeah. Okay.
So
let me get my tickets out.
I'll carry it for now.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, I have money on 9 teams. First and foremost, the one with the best chances are Gonzaga, because they're up to like plus 200 right now. And I got them at plus 550, which is 5.5 to 1. So I have this bet right here. I placed this November 28th, 2020. That was about 4 months ago. I got that in at plus 550. Wow. If you can see it on here. But and they're the favorite right now. And so I put 200 on them at plus 550. 200 to win 1,100. I collect 1,300. So that one looks promising because they are the overall favorites. Now, I also have money on Creighton at 50 to 1. West Virginia at 55 to 1. USC at 60 to 1. Florida State at 32 to 1. Wisconsin at 30 to 1. Tennessee at 40 to 1. Kansas at 50 to 1. Alec has 5 of those same ones.
Yeah, should I go down the list as mine?
Go with yours real quick, yeah.
So I have Kansas at 40 to 1. I have West Virginia at 45 to 1. Creighton at 50 to 1. Iowa at 16 to 1. And Florida State at 25 to 1.
And you have 50 on all 5, right?
I have 50 on all 5, yeah.
Okay, so I just want to first get out the way. So first and foremost, the one thing I wanted to talk to Alec about this last night, but I saved it for now. So I'm gonna pull up. If you pull up the bracket too, we're both doing a $50 little bracket pool too. Should I see if anyone else wants to get in that? By the way, dude, they don't care, right? They just want more people, right? Ask them.
Yeah.
But so we're also doing a little $50 bracket pool. So regarding the bets, we'll do our Elite 8 and Final 4 here in a bit. But the thing that stood out to me, of course, when we're going down, the first region they did was, I don't know which each region's called. I think it's the East region, but the one where Gonzaga is number 1. So in that region, I have Gonzaga, which is the favorite. But in that one, the number 2 was Iowa. The number 3 was Kansas. Right. The number 5 was Creighton. And the number 6 was USC. So 5 of my teams were in the same region. So kind of that's a bad thing because only one's coming out. I guess the good thing is I'll for sure got the Final 4 team out of there.
Right.
And I guess if Gonzaga was going to slip up, then at least one of my teams will be in it. But I wish Gonzaga would have been in their own and spread them out randomly because I think Gonzaga is the best team. So I think they're going to get out of there. So that basically kills 4 of my bets. Now, again, if they do get upset, at least I get one of them there. But that was the main thing I was wanting to tell you. And that was the first region. I'm literally watching the bracket unfold, and 5 of them were in the first bracket.
The only one that's not is West Virginia? Is that the only one?
No, that we have is West Virginia. Well, I'm going to get
West Virginia.
No, Florida State. Florida State's in their own one, yeah. Florida State's in their own. So I'm going to get into it. I'm going to go to those ones. Okay. So we have 5 out of that one. So we'll go to our Elite 8s and our Final 4. So, and then out of the next one, which will go underneath, is the East. Oh, yeah, that was his East. So Gonzaga's in the West. So the one underneath it in the East that's the 1 seed Michigan. The only one we have in there is Florida State. So Florida State is alone in there with a favorable matchup because Michigan is banged up. Right. So I do like Florida State's odds to get to the Final 4 out of there. Colorado's sneaky in that second round. We'll see. Even though some people are picking Georgetown in that 12-5 to beat Colorado, but I do like Florida State's odds to get out of that one.
Who did Georgetown just murder the other day?
Creighton.
But
what happened on Saturday and Sunday in those tournament games, though, those tournament championship games, the teams that all won on Saturday, Georgetown won in the Big East Finals, Oregon State won in the Pac-12 Finals, and Georgetown, Oregon State, and I'm missing one more that needed to get in. Georgetown, Oregon State, and one other team won. The moral of the story was they had to win to get into the tournament. So I think like a Creighton just kind of went flat. They already knew they were going to be in the tournament. They got destroyed by Georgetown. Right. Later that night, Pac-12 was Colorado versus Oregon State. Oregon State had to win that game to get in. And then the other one was, let me pull up the other side of the bracket. What was it? Big Ten. LSU and Alabama played.
Illinois beat Ohio State.
Illinois beat Ohio State.
Yeah.
I'll find it here in a second. Texas Tech, Utah State, Arkansas, Loyola, Tennessee, Oregon State, Oklahoma State, Syracuse, Clemson, Rutgers. What was the other one? Big Ten that needed to get in that sold a bid. Georgetown, Oregon State. I'll remember, but let's go to the other one. So the other one that I have is Wisconsin. Wisconsin's in Baylor's division. Luckily, I think Baylor's the best team, but they're the only one in there. And Wisconsin, to be honest, is like the one of my 9 bets who I'm feeling least good about because they can't score. Yeah. So they would play, and they played North Carolina in the first game, 8-9. North Carolina's playing well. They could lose that. I do have Wisconsin beating them and then playing Baylor in the second round and then Baylor beating them. So the other one that I do feel good about, so we can get Florida State in the Final Four. We'll give our Elite Eight in the Final Fours. But the one... Okay. The other one that I still want you to put money on Tennessee is because West Virginia and Tennessee are in that same one, and they could come out of that. I think Illinois, even though Illinois won that Big Ten championship, I still think they're the weakest of the 1 seeds. So, and Illinois also, they play Loyola Chicago in the second round. If Loyola Chicago gets past Georgia Tech. Oh, is that the team I didn't say? Georgia Tech. Yeah, Georgia Tech. That was ACC. That needed to win. Yeah. So, okay. So, Oregon State, Georgia Tech, and Georgetown. They weren't going to make the tournament. So, my point is these teams, and that's what makes the tournament so good. When you know you're going to go home, you play a lot better. So, those teams had to win, and it showed. Georgetown killed Creighton. Oregon State beat up Colorado, and then Georgia Tech beat Florida State, which actually killed my parlay that day. I had Florida State in a parlay. But, but in that division, I mean, the Midwest one, Illinois, I think, honestly, before we were doing the bracket pool, I went for some upsets, but I was like, you got to play it safe. I have Illinois beating Loyola Chicago, but I do think Loyola Chicago could knock off Illinois in that second round, which would open up for Tennessee to then, either way, I have Tennessee playing Illinois in the Sweet 16 right there, and Tennessee's going to beat Illinois if that matchup happens. The one other thing, too, which was weird, is that they did let Oklahoma State in it. That's the guy who's going to be the number 1 draft pick, Cade Cunningham. And all year they were saying Oklahoma State was ineligible, but then he's in. So, honestly, it would be that Tennessee-Oklahoma State second-round matchup. And then the other one that we have, which you only have right now, is West Virginia's in that one. Right. So, you'd want West Virginia to come out of that. So, pull up your bracket if you have it up. So, let's go to Elite Eight. Okay. Who are your Elite Eight?
Just go straight down the list.
Just go straight down the list.
I have Gonzaga versus Iowa.
Okay.
Florida State versus Alabama. Purdue versus Ohio State. And Illinois versus West Virginia.
Okay. And then...
So Baylor's not in there. I have them getting upset.
Yeah, that's with Purdue up there, yeah.
I kind of went with my heart with Ohio State in there, too. So.
Okay. I'll say my Elite Eight, and then we'll go into your Final Four. So I have Gonzaga, Kansas, Florida State. I got 7 UConn going to the Elite Eight. I wanted to pick some kind of team randomly to get to the Elite Eight. UConn. I have Baylor versus Ohio State there, and then I have Tennessee, West Virginia in the Elite Eight. So go into your then Final Four.
I have Gonzaga versus Florida State and Purdue versus West Virginia.
Ooh, all right. Yeah. And then, so I actually have the same matchup. I have Gonzaga versus Florida State there.
Okay.
And then I have Baylor versus Tennessee. And then your championship game.
You know, I probably would have switched it if I bet Tennessee, and then I probably would have carried them all the way through too. You know? But since I only had West Virginia, I decided to go with Purdue.
You can still switch it up until it starts. I still think you should go get that money in on them.
No, I will. Yeah. And then in the championship, I have Florida State versus West Virginia.
There we go.
And do I get my winner?
Yeah. Let's just go with it.
I have Florida State winning by 71-65 is my
Beautiful.
final score.
I'll take that regardless.
Yeah, how much would I win on that? Which one's my Florida State?
50 at
I
25.
have 50 to win 1,300. So, yeah,
You'll take it.
I'll definitely take that.
And so my final four, I have the at least two teams with the Florida State. I went with him, number 4 seed, and I have a 5 seed Tennessee. But for the national championship, I went chalk, 1 Gonzaga versus 1 Baylor, and I got Gonzaga taken at 76-70. So yeah, once we got in this $50 tournament, pull out and play it smart. So and again, I still think those are the two best teams. So we're gonna see, and I got money on Gonzaga, so at least
that hurts my heart a little bit.
So,
how much do you win?
I got Florida State and Tennessee in the Final Four.
Yeah.
I
How much did you win?
1,300.
How much did you put on?
200 on them.
At 550.
5.5, yeah.
5.5 to 1.
So I collect 13.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be
especially in Vegas where we live. It's the biggest time of the year.
Really
out here.
fun.
It's March Madness.
Yep.
So.
My friend Jay's come out here, and Chris followed all the same bets I do too. He said if they get maybe a team in the Final Four, they'll come out here that weekend.
Oh really?
So
in the Final Four?
In the Final Four, yeah. So,
when is the championship supposed to be? Do you know?
It would be that weekend of April 3rd. So it would be the Final Four would be.
Easter weekend.
April 2nd, and then it would be the
championship. Wow.
Check that just to make sure. But I think that's right. Yeah, because it's in 19 days. Okay. Wait, check real quick just to make sure. When's that?
I don't want to pop up that screen, but I'll look it up on my phone real quick.
NCAA championship. So last little thing I'll say, if Gonzaga gets knocked off out of that one, because you picked Iowa to come out of there.
Yeah.
Iowa was in your Final Four?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, if Gonzaga did
April 5th.
April 5th, yeah, so that's right.
9 p.m. April 5th.
That's the game, yeah. The Final Four will be, it's always that Saturday, and the championship's that Monday. So, I mean, again, if Gonzaga does get knocked off, at least we do have, that's where our big Creighton bet would be, or Kansas bet.
I'd love it if Gonzaga and Baylor got knocked off early.
Yeah, we'll see.
A lot of people are hyping up Alabama, too, I was seeing. So, hopefully, I just want all the top seeds to get knocked out of there.
I watched them against Tennessee on Saturday when that was the game on Friday or Saturday, but Tennessee was up 12 in that game deep in the second half, and the call started going Alabama's way. It was a little sketchy in my eyes, and I bet Alabama too that day. I had Alabama money line, and I was like, wow, Tennessee is just beating the shit out of them, and they somehow came back and won that game by a couple of points. But I thought Tennessee was dominating that game, and I thought a lot of the calls went Alabama's way. So Tennessee easily could have won that game, been in the SEC championship. They would have probably beat LSU the next day. So,
how far in advance to the other teams do you feel Gonzaga and Baylor are? In comparison.
Yeah. I mean, again.
Like, is it a giant leap to those two teams? Are they that elite, or is it like, a couple percentage?
Yeah. I guess it's hard for me to tell until we see here, but,
But in previous years, have there been
there's
like
been
a
more
dominant
teams,
team to where
but those teams lose too. I mean, like the Zion Williamson, RJ Barrett, they lost in the Sweet 16. So there have been some like really high, powerful like North Carolina, Kentucky teams that are really good. Yeah. So they aren't those teams, which makes it interesting. Those two teams are just very complete. I just feel like confident that they're going to come to play every game. That's the one thing I wonder about some of these other teams. They could win 2, 3, maybe 4 games, but can they put together 6 games? I trust Gonzaga and Baylor in 6 games. But again, that's what makes it interesting. Either of them could get knocked off. So that's good for March Madness, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Next thing, let's do.
Why do you keep burping?
I'm drinking Mountain Dew as we go.
You burp every podcast.
Yeah, that's part of my little CeeLo.
At least burp outside of the mic.
Maybe if I just keep drinking Mountain Dew on it, and I burp my Mountain Dew into the mic, it will just make us have to get a Mountain Dew sponsor.
Yeah. I think we're a little ways away, but I'd love that. Mountain Dew, send the check, please.
All right, so we're gonna do Triller. Triller is making a lot of moves, but Triller is hosting the Jake Paul versus Ben Askren fight. We're gonna do our Jake Paul, Ben Askren preview, predictions, breakdowns. We can't do many bets because they only have a line out for the main event. So let's get into it. First off, couple things. The main event is Ben Askren versus Jake Paul. That line is out. I see it anywhere from Jake Paul like minus 265. The one I just pulled up was minus 280.
That is so disrespectful.
Askren plus 195. So we'll get more into it. Let me just pull up the other ones. The other one, I don't know if it's a co-main event because this one's showing up the second one. Regis Prograis versus Ivan Redkach. They got good records, 25-1 versus 23-5-1. U.S. versus Ukraine, haven't seen them. The fight that I'm second most intrigued for is Frank Mir versus Antonio Tarver. At one point, Antonio Tarver, 31-6-1. He was one of the top boxers in the world, fighting like Roy Jones Jr. And fighting, I think he beat him once too. And they fought a couple times, but the only interesting is he's 51 now.
Yeah, he's old as fuck.
Frank Mir's 41.
I'm curious what the odds are. Of that
me
fight.
too. I'm excited for that. I'm actually.
Are there odds released for these undercards? Or
no, I looked and I couldn't find any. And Frank's the kind of dude, he'll take shit serious and try to knock old man out, which I think is funny. And then the other fight is Joe Fournier. He's a British millionaire known for club promoting, is what I heard. And he's fighting Ray Khan, who's a Colombian reggae star. Looks like...
No, reggaeton.
Oh.
It's different.
I just wrote reggae star.
Yeah.
Colombian reggaeton. So it's like reggae with EDM, I think.
I have no clue what
I think
it is.
so. It's more dancey reggae. But Ray Khan, he looks like Chris Brown had a baby with Gwyneth Paltrow. Close? Anyway.
You prepped that one.
No, I didn't.
You had that one locked up,
I
bro.
swear on Hendrix, I just pulled that off rip. You just pulled up the picture. I didn't even see what the dude looked like.
Oh, damn.
I've never seen it. This is the first time. Raycon El Lighter. El Litter. El Lighter?
So do we want to stop from the bottom of the card and go up?
Okay, yeah, let's do it. So let's go. Yeah, let's do it that way. So Joe Fournier versus Raycon. Hot take. Who you got winning?
I'll go with Raycon.
Raycon, 38 versus 34.
Yeah.
He might have a little flavor in his step. The thing with this,
I mean, why is this guy 8-0?
That's
I don't
what I'm
understand.
saying. He's
Is
probably
these
gonna
8
win.
amateur fights? No, he's going to win.
He's going to win if he's 8-0.
He's going to win.
Raycon, if Nate Robinson couldn't fight, Raycon definitely can't fight.
Yeah. Is that it? Is
Mic
there
check.
even a hot take?
I don't have a hot take.
really?
Other than I just saw that. I did think that was interesting. What I read was British millionaire club promoter. So I don't know what that means.
Yeah, he's like, after I beat him, you can come hang out with me at Cheetahs. So he's trying to promote a club.
Okay, so he must have a big club somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Let's go to the Regis Prograis first. We'll do Regis Prograis versus Evan Redkach. 25-1 versus 23-1. 32 versus 35. Who you got in that one?
I'm going to go with Regis.
Regis.
Just to stay with the United States.
Okay. I'm going to go with Ivan Redkach just to make it interesting. Pick somebody else.
Damn, what a life.
Yeah. I don't have a big hot take on that one either. Let's get into the fun one. So Antonio Tarver versus Frank Mir. I think they even said Tarver will be 52 by the time the fight starts. I could be wrong. Mir's 41. 41 is still fightable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I've trained with Frank Mir multiple times in jiu-jitsu. I know he still trains. His daughter is now like 16, making her like a professional push now. He's been coaching her. I think
MMA?
MMA.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I think she's in Bellator. But
at 16?
16 or 17.
You can fight that young?
Yeah, I think
wow.
so. Mm-hmm.
Damn.
So Antonio Tarver, 51, takes on Frank Mir, 41. Who you got?
I'm going to go with Antonio Tarver, even though he's old as fuck. Just because the boxing experience, I think, is going to play a huge part. It's not MMA.
Yeah. Frank Mir has great boxing, though.
Does he?
Yeah, Frank Mir's got hands.
Yeah.
He usually stands and bangs just to, like, prove a point. And I've always thought Frank Mir has good movement for a bigger guy.
Mm-hmm. It's the main sport. I'm not going to disrespect.
Yeah, I just think this could be the age difference.
Yeah.
52 is old. I mean, Tyson and Roy Jones
But if
couldn't
he's
move.
been training, I saw an interview with him, and he seemed pretty fiery. And he's like, Frank Mir better be training a lot, you know. These guys don't want to mess up their legacy. I bet he still has some fire in him.
Yeah, and I think these guys will
both. It is old, though.
Yeah, these are both the dudes that will come out and bang, too.
Mm-hmm. That's probably going to be the best. I don't know.
We'll go to the main one's going to be fun.
It's not. The main's going to be fun. Yeah.
So I'm going to go with Frank Mir. He's going to win that one. I'm going to go with Frank Mir by, I don't know if they even have winners. Do they pick winners? Yeah, I guess so. Frank Mir by decision. Do they do decisions?
I don't know. I think so.
I got Frank Mir nonetheless.
That Mike Tyson versus
Roy Jones Jr. was a draw.
Yeah, but I mean that's a decision though.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Or maybe just kind of.
They might just draw him out.
That's what I'm saying. Just like silly stuff. But
How
I know
long are the
Frank Mir and
rounds?
Antonio Tarver are the kind of dudes who are going to scrap.
Bang, yeah.
They're not going to
Someone's
be
get
like
knocked out,
they didn't sign up
probably.
for this to be cute. I mean, I'm sure Frank Mir's getting a nice little paycheck too.
I feel like you can't get knocked out at 52. I don't think that's good for the old brain.
Oh, I thought you meant like you're not able to. Like
no,
yeah,
you can.
yeah, that's not going to be
I'm
good
just
at
saying,
all.
I don't think that's
And Frank's 41 did test before, like.
that's a quicker way to the old man's home. you
Yeah,
know?
that's not good. That's a
not
funny
something
fight. I'm anxious. I hope that fight goes on. Like I hope no one pulls out with an injury or anything. All right, let's go to the main one. So we got Jake, the problem child Paul, defends his 2-0 undefeated record versus Ben Funky Askren at 19-2.
Funky?
Funky. Yeah,
Huh.
Ben Funky Askren. Ben Askren is a known Olympic wrestler, I believe, or made trials. He's a high-level wrestler. And Jake Paul is a YouTube sensation and a
Now
rapper.
boxer.
And a rapper.
Yeah.
And a former Disney star.
Mm-hmm.
And now a professional boxer.
Right.
And his older brother Logan Paul has a huge, huge platform. So we got Jake Paul's 24, Askren's 36. So Paul's got the edge in age. Before we even get to our picks, Dana White went on Mike Tyson's hot boxing, or not hot boxing. That's
Hot boxing with my. Oh, no.
the hot box is the weed smoker.
You messed me up now.
Hot boxing, it might be that. Well, whatever. Mike Tyson's podcast. Be Real does the hot box.
Yeah.
Tyson has a podcast called
gotta look
Mike
it up.
Mike Tyson podcast. It was Mike Tyson,
Mike Tyson.
Dana White, and Zab Judah. And
Hot boxing with Mike
yeah,
Tyson,
hot boxing
it
with Mike
is.
Tyson. So I think they stole that from Be Real a little bit.
Yeah, they kinda
pull up
did.
Be Real's podcast
It
title
is.
just real quick.
It is hot box.
The hot box.
Yeah.
Just check. And then so Dana White was on hot boxing with Mike Tyson and Zab Judah. Zab Judah is a professional boxer, one of the greatest boxers ever, one of the most fun boxers. And he's pulling up this Be Real podcast name real quick. Just at a Dr. Green Thumb. Did they change
They
it?
might have changed it.
No, the smoke box.
Oh, the smoke box.
If you click on the bottom, you see the little the left. If you click on the
Oh yeah, the smoke box. Yeah.
So anyway, Mike Tyson's hot box. It was Dana White, Mike Tyson, and Zab Judah.
Mm-hmm.
And Dana White, because Jake Paul and Dana White have thrown shots back and forth, and Dana goes, I got 1 million on Ben Askren, and then someone else, I think. First off, Jake Paul had a reaction video too,
Right.
and he came out, was like, "Oh, double that. Put your money where your mouth is. We'll put it in an escrow account. We'll make it 4 million. Whoever wins takes it." Also, Snoop Dogg came out and posted a video and said he's got 2 million on Jake Paul.
Right.
Now, I think Snoop Dogg has some kind of investment with Triller, so Jake Paul and Snoop Dogg basically work for the same company. So, and then now Snoop might actually think Jake Paul is going to win too. I mean, he was there live to see him fight. The last fight versus Nate Robinson. But yeah, so Snoop says he's got 2 million on Jake Paul. Dana's got 1 million on Ben Askren. So I guess minus 280 plus 195. We talked about this on one of our first ones, so we'll make a new prediction now. Who you got?
I still have Ben Askren. Yeah.
I did too.
But
How does he win? In what way?
I don't know. By decision?
First of all, I think it's an 8-round fight. And I did want to say this too. It's in Atlanta, Georgia, at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, so this is gonna be cool. I'm assuming they're having fans. I'm not too sure. April 17th, 2021, in Atlanta, and Triller is hosting it. That's the same promotion that hosted the Mike Tyson, Roy Jones Jr. You're going Ben Askren by decision.
Yeah, but I don't know if it goes to decision. I feel like one of them will gas out. You know, I'll have Ben Askren by TKO in the 6th round.
Ben Askren by
It's 8 rounds?
8 rounds, I'm pretty sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
5th or 6th round TKO. I think Jake Paul gets tired.
Okay. I'm going to go. I like that pick. I would love to see Jake Paul get tired. That would be ideal. I just think Jake Paul just has too much heart. And this is all he's doing right now too. So, but I got Ben Askren by decision. I'm going Ben
By
Askren.
decision.
If we can bet this fight, we're gonna bet it just because.
Yeah.
I don't think they're having it like Red Rock though and stuff. It's just on weird sites. We'll see. Hopefully by the time it gets closer, they're actually taking bets on it. That'd be ideal. But I got Askren by decision. And that's really all we got on this one, right? That's good for this one. I do want to say one thing about Triller. Should we just go into that?
Yeah, go into
so
that.
Triller also just purchased Versus, which in the last year, Versus was probably like the biggest kind of, I don't know what I would call like cool thing that was kind of created because
New
of the
platform,
pandemic. Yeah, new platform, pandemic related. Where I think it was started by what's Alicia Keys' husband's name? Swiss Beats, and somebody else. And I know a lot of the people they had on the first couple ones. I know even more than that. Like the first like 16 people all have stake in the company now too. So whoever they all had, Keisha Cole versus Ashanti, and I can't even think of the people they've had on there. DMX versus Snoop Dogg, and
who was
Jada Kiss versus Fabulous.
Or whatever.
Erykah Badu
versus that was a good one.
Yeah,
I watched that at your house.
Yeah, we watched it. That was a good one. Erykah Badu versus I can't think of the girl's name.
Yeah, that's
disrespectful. Pull up her name real quick.
Yeah.
Erykah Badu versus. I can picture her. We were watching it on my couch. I can picture her. I just can't think of her name. So anyway, it was basically they put up, anyone who doesn't know what Versus is, most people do, but Versus, basically they had two people.
Jill Scott.
Yep.
Sorry, Jill Scott.
Yeah. They had two people basically pick up their 20 best songs, and then they would go against each other. And there would kind of be a winner. Obviously, everyone who would watch it would kind of pick who they thought would win, but it became a point where it was just kind of showcasing people and giving people a platform just to show their music.
And boost artist numbers. After that, their numbers on streaming services would go crazy. Versus would repost it on Instagram and stuff. It was kind of cool to see.
And then it even got to the point. So when it went deep in COVID and the pandemic, it was just two people on screens, and it would be on Instagram or the Apple TV. Then it got to the point where another big one was Gucci Mane versus Young Jeezy, where they were in a stadium or a studio together. Studio, yeah. And so they did it live. Same thing, played 20 songs versus each other. And the most recent one they did was a D'Angelo and Friends, which I didn't watch, but I know that was the most recent. But anyway, long story short, Triller, the same company that is hosting the Jake Paul Ben Askren fight, bought Versus. And first and foremost, Triller, supposedly what I've heard, is basically what TikTok was trying to be.
I have no clue.
You don't know?
Yeah.
But Triller, what I heard, was kind of what TikTok was supposed to be, with like quick little video clips. And I could be butchering
like Vine
this.
And stuff, maybe.
Search Triller app on Google, just see what pops up, and just see if it has like a little summary on it. But that's what I've heard, was Triller was supposed to be kind of what TikTok was.
Now it's just like a streaming service.
Triller is an American over to the right. Triller is an American video making and social networking firm owned by Proxima Media. It allows users to automatically edit and synchronize their videos to background tracks using artificial intelligence. So, and it was introduced in 2015. Obviously, someone got behind TikTok. Is TikTok owned by one of the big companies now?
No,
like a Facebook?
It's a Chinese big corporation.
Okay.
Yeah. They just did it better, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
But now Triller was like, they must have big money behind them, obviously, if they were willing to pay Mike Tyson. They put a lot of money into that, the Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. And not only that, they had like Mario Lopez hosting it. They had like big artists performing, like French Montana and all these big people who are out right now. French Montana and Snoop Dogg performed, and there were some other big people. I'm drawing a blank on the names. But anyway, so now, and Triller is also hosting this Jake Paul Ben Askren, and now they bought Versus. So I'm wondering if anything will be different, other than maybe instead of it being on Instagram Live and Apple TV, you think they'll just all be on Triller now, or what do you think?
Yeah, it would just be independent with Triller.
Just on their app.
I wonder how the numbers are for Versus now that we're out of the pandemic. I bet the interest isn't as high as it was before.
That's what people were.
But if they had like a crazy, what's the word I'm looking for? Competition, like separate competitors. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well,
and I think what they could do is just instead just have more fans, and it could just be in a small venue, and they still record it online, and people
it would
watch
be a pay-per-view thing, probably, wouldn't it?
I don't know. Guess we're gonna see.
If that's the case, then they can pay some bigger guys to do it, because a lot of people probably wouldn't do it unless they're getting paid. You know?
And I heard, and I did
like
see
50 Cent type guys and stuff. You'd have to give them a bag to get them to show up. You know.
Yeah. So I'm curious. We'll see how it all pans out. I just wanted to throw that in there because that was one of the news in the last week that Triller bought Versus. So we'll just see how it pans out. Triller's trying to do big things. Like I said, they must have big money behind them. I know they made a lot of money for that Tyson card. I heard it was the Tyson card, by the way, was the 8th biggest card in boxing history.
Wow.
Yeah, so they made a lot of money. But I know they put a lot of money up too. So So anyway, we'll see what happens with Triller buying versus. What do you want to go to next? I have some little small things.
What do you have next?
Well, first off, I just want to kept talking about this real quick. Just on the Woody Allen thing real quick, because the season finale was last night of Allen vs. Pharaoh. Mm-hmm. And the only thing I'll say about it on this point is this. You know, Woody Allen swears he didn't touch the 6-year-old, but is very open with at one point doing things with a 17-year-old Asian adopted daughter, and now 10 years later was like in Italy, is like happily married to her. Mm-hmm. So now she's like 47. He's still married to her like 30 years later. So it's like, you know, my point is that's fucking weird, you know, that you married your adopted little Asian daughter.
Really weird.
So anything past that is like, okay, I can believe that, let alone the 6-year-old girl is on video. My son is 6 years old. Like, he would tell me, you know, it's like, they're not bullshitting. You don't just make that shit up. The 6-year-old's on camera saying that his dad brought him up to the attic and touched her behind in her private parts. 6-year-olds don't make shit up. If anything, 6-year-olds are pure. They don't know about manipulation and deception and shit. So, but the thing I thought was funny was, you know, Woody is a pathological liar, and the media in this last one basically would just killed his wife Mia Farrow, basically said that she was crazy, and of course, what else are you gonna play against her? But the funny thing, and this is why I want to bring it up, I wanted to say to my mom and my dad, I called my mom this morning. I'm like, what's up with your boy Woody Allen? she goes, I think it's weird about the adopted daughter, but doesn't believe the molestation thing. And that's what the media was pushing back then. And, you know, and my mom especially, she's been manipulated by the Hollywood media thing for the last 30 years. I mean, she watches all the ABC Good Morning things, and that was a big thing. Woody Allen pushed, but like, bro, the 6-year-old came out and said it. He's a weirdo by dating, is married to his adopted Asian daughter. You don't need to tell me more, but I just thought it was funny that the media and Woody Allen's power did get people like my mom to believe it. I haven't said it to my dad yet. I'm gonna say it to him today too. So what about your boy Woody Allen, and see what he says? Yeah. But I just thought that was funny. I was hoping he said that she would say he was a weirdo. So she was like, oh, I don't think he did that part. I'm like, bro, you got to go watch the video. You know, again, a 6-year-old saying on the camera that her dad touched him in private parts. 6-year-olds don't just say shit like that.
I don't know if you told me or I heard it on another podcast, but his wife, what's the wife's name?
Mia Farrow.
Mia Farrow walked into his New York apartment and saw like nude photos of the adopted daughter when she was like 15, 16.
Yeah. That was when she first found out about the Asian daughter.
Chose not to report it or something.
In their twist, like Woody's twist, like, she was so mad about me doing things with the Asian daughter. Well, I'm sure she was, but doesn't mean you weren't molesting the kid too. So she's like, well, because she was so mad about that she made up this thing and coached the 6-year-old. No, bro, you're a fucking weirdo.
Yeah. You don't adopt a wife. Like, what the fuck?
You don't adopt a daughter. You don't wife a daughter.
Right.
Fucking weirdo.
Fucking
and you
sick.
look weird, bro.
Yeah.
You look
and if you're going to do that, you're probably going to do the other shit too. It's
let alone the 6-year-old on camera saying this.
Right.
You know, Henry's a 6-year-old. Would Henry just make that up? Like, kids are pure like that. You can't coach them to that shit. And they had like breakdown people who have interviewed kids with child molestation stuff, and says like they were trying to see if she was coached to do it. That was like Woody's side was, that Mia coached her into that. Nah, bro, the daughter was on camera. There was nothing coached about that. I know kids. I'm around a kid every single day, especially that age. You can't coach.
And if there's nothing else attached to it, then maybe you can make that argument. But when you marry your adopted daughter, then you can't really counter that argument.
That's my take too. Some people just don't think that's that weird. No, that's weird as hell, dog.
That's almost as weird as it gets.
And he's like super Hollywood powerful. Like, until I saw this, I didn't realize how powerful he was. You know, until the Me Too movement, people were still like, until they showed like a thing in Golden Globes in 2014, like Woody Allen winning this Lifetime Achievement Award with like actors and actors who we kind of like and respect. But then when this Me Too movement came out, people like Natalie Portman came out and said we don't support Woody Allen. And,
I love Natalie Portman.
Natalie Portman. There's some other big ones like that came out and went against him. Good. So that was cool. And the daughter who was molested is grown now. She's one of the main people on it, and it made her feel better once people supported her, because Woody was basically making her seem like she was telling a lie. Like, she was still backing this as a grown woman. Right. You know, it's like.
And what is Woody Allen gonna say? Oh yeah, I did it.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
You know what he said too? There's this like thing. Yeah. It's not with Howard Stern, but something like that. He goes. So what, now at just 57, I just started molesting kids? Nah, bro, you got caught. Yeah. At 57, bro. Right. What do you mean? Like, no, you're a weirdo. You married your adopted stepdaughter. You're a weirdo, bro.
Yeah.
So
disgusting.
anyway, but that season finale was last night, so I watched that whole 4-part series.
Was there anything you learned in the final episode or no?
Just
He's a creep. That's it.
Just a creep, and that kind of power. That power thing is funny. And again, I think the biggest thing was with my mom saying it today. It's like he's still a great movies, and they say that in the documentary is like, do you dismiss the great art from a bad person? Not always, but this is yes, because that's bad. You don't molest a 6-year-old and don't get married to your 17-year-old Asian daughter.
Are we allowed to listen to R. Kelly anymore? Is that out the window?
At least he wasn't molesting kids. I mean, I guess it was.
Well, I mean, he kind of was. It's
young
like 15-year-old girls, but like, I believe I can fly and
yeah,
shit.
it's just
like,
lit.
damn.
Speaking of believe I can fly, I don't know about R. Kelly. I'm gonna stay away from that. But
stay away.
But I believe you can fly always makes you think of Space Jam, and that new one's coming out with LeBron James. I can't wait for that, bro. It's been showing up on the HBO Max app.
Hendrix would probably love that.
Yeah.
Too.
Speaking of the HBO Max app, this is like a little side thing. Probably one of my most exciting things last week. I'd always have to. So on Cox on Contour. On the TV, they would have Netflix there, YouTube, Amazon Prime. So I would have Netflix and Amazon Prime, but I'd have to bring up my Xbox for HBO Max
to get that
or Hulu.
Yeah.
But now they just released HBO Max on Contour, so
really?
now I don't have to bring the Xbox up anymore.
All TV providers need to up their game.
They were behind the game.
Like even with getting ESPN Plus, you can't get ESPN
it's a pain
Plus
in the ass.
on most of the cable
My
networks.
new TV you can now, but that shit's
really?
They're updating that now. They're catching up. But we're talking about.
It's gonna happen. It needs to happen.
Yeah, these TVs didn't update in the last 20 years, but they're updating now. Again, that was a big step. HBO Max, I was like, thank God, I'm gonna bring up the Xbox every morning. And
honestly, I don't really see a reason for cable other than live sports.
Yeah.
And there's ways of getting around that. I don't want to promote anything illegal on here, but there's ways to watch live sports that aren't through cable too.
Well,
so
they're going to a big thing with that too. Well, we'll just keep going actually. So with the live sports, there's a bunch of big licensing. I don't even know the word I'm looking for, but like for example, Disney, ESPN just signed a 7-year deal with NHL. So now they had an NBC deal, but now it'll be on ESPN and Disney. So that'll be interesting. I mean, there's only like 800 NHL fans in the earth, but good job. Maybe it'll work for you. Sport, I don't care. Nick Hornbeck loves it, but he also loves NASCAR driving. So anyway, shout out to NASCAR drivers and hockey. But no. But I was gonna say something regarding
the HBO.
No, the licensing. So NHL. Signed a 7-year deal with Disney and ESPN, but also they're about to go. NFL is about to go into this big battle. What's the word I'm looking for?
Licensing
partnership.
Yeah. The rights.
The rights, I could pull it up. But long story short, so like the big player is basically CBS and Fox have a certain set of games on the Sundays, right?
Right.
And then the big games that always are different. Super Bowl changes every year, so CBS. NBC, they usually are the two with Fox. ESPN still hasn't had a Super Bowl yet, so they're talking about them getting a Super Bowl. So that's the one that changes every year, and then the other one that changes is like the Thursday night games. ESPN has had Monday Night Football for a while, but the big one, and the only reason I bring this up is Amazon is a big contender now. If they're going to come in and take like a Thursday night game, maybe a Sunday night game, but Sunday night is with the NBC. So the point was, Amazon's a big player now for this NFL rights.
What would happen at cable if live sports were on streaming platforms? There's really not a point.
Like, well, you know what it is. It's live sports, and there's this old people, especially.
Yeah, but that's going to die off.
Who love their news and love their Good Morning America and The View. So it's those things that keep it going, and it gets passed down in generations.
I don't know.
Hate to keep bringing up Nick Hornbeck. Nick Hornbeck checks on the 5 o'clock news too, just like his mom and dad probably did. So it's like, I gotta go and watch the 5 o'clock news. I'm like,
either way, cable's going out of the door eventually.
Yeah.
The numbers just aren't there. What are you looking at?
I'm looking up that word. I was just looking for
licensing.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, I mean they all work.
Massive NFL television rights deals.
Rights
deals. There we go. But anyway. All right, that was a nice little take. The only other thing I'll say real quick, and if you got anything else, we'll go into it.
Yeah.
So Trevor Lawrence, they just announced Topps just announced a 50 card exclusive set with Trevor Lawrence. So I mean, they're doing that before he even plays. So if Joe Burrow was popping this year, they're expecting Trevor Lawrence to definitely be popping, which I think he's going to.
What team is he projected?
Number 1 to the Jaguars. What's fun is
Jaguars,
Urban Meyer, the Ohio State coach, is going to be the coach there.
That's huge.
I think we should put a little money on him. When his roll numbers here, does some sad shit at 100 to 1. I swear.
That's ambitious.
That's ambitious, but just a little something.
I wonder what the odds would be.
Or maybe even just like we could do to win the division or something. But odds in the Super Bowl would be funner. So Urban Meyer would be the Trevor Lawrence, and the only other thing I feel that now I was watching. I knew this 1400 little Bang Bang was coming through. So I was looking
the
at
stimulus check.
Yeah. And
did you get yours?
No, I didn't get it yet.
No.
Chasing Wells Fargo won't be until March 17th. I mean, March 17th. It comes through 2 days.
Oh, nice.
Let's
go.
So I was watching a bunch of stuff on eBay the last like week or so. You know, I had some Zach LaVine PSA 10s. Now, first and foremost, now I'm only doing PSA because I tried to get my Kevin Durant cards. It would cost me $1,000 and $1,020 to get my 10KD sent in. Yeah, bro. They have like $100 a card now to send it in. It's a ripoff.
Wow.
So I'm only
it's $100 a card.
$100 a card.
But some of those cards might be worth $1,000.
Sure, but you have to drop $1,000 to get all 10.
Yeah.
in.
What's the specific card you have? I'm sure
the Kevin
people are
Durant
curious.
Topps rookie card.
Yeah.
Like the PSA 10, I was watching one. I think I sent you a picture of it just recently. It went for 20. It's going for like 2,100, 2,200.
Yeah, that might be worth.
And I have 10 of those. And
You
I bought
should
all
just see
10 of
the
those for
ones-
$30.
You should see the ones that are in the best condition.
I know. I was gonna do that. Send 2 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually kind of a good transition of what I wanted to get into. Do you have any more?
No, just one other thing. Yeah.
on that?
So
Yeah.
just with the eBay, I was watching all this stuff like Zach LaVine PSA. So I'm only looking at PSA cards now. They have to be PSA. But then the last 2 days, I'm like, bro, this card push is like, now I feel like a sucker to even buy cards.
Why?
It's too high now. There's so
The
many
prices
people.
are too
Like when
high?
I used to do it, like I could find some younger guys. Like now, it's like people have like a job to find these younger guys. There's no value right now.
Yeah. Well, I guess the value is in the older cards.
But
is
even
what
those
Gary
are super
Vaynerchuk
expensive.
keeps talking about.
I was like
yeah.
looking at some PSA Tim Duncan rookie cards, and
I'm sure it's there. People are making a living off flipping cards.
Well, no,
right now,
I
so
could
there
drop
has to be
500 on a PSA 10 Tim Duncan and sit on it for 20 years, and it's gonna triple for sure.
Right.
You know, but
are you saying there's no
I'm just
quick
saying
flips
like
that you can make?
it's not the value it would have been 2 years ago. You know.
Yeah. But like we were saying, like there might not be as much value in like the PSA 10s and shit. But like when it comes to the 9s and the 9.5s, those might be better to flip. You know.
Yeah. Even some of the prison ones I was looking at are down a little bit, like the Trae Young one, and Zion's going back up a little bit. Thank God.
That's back up 20% or
it's
something.
going
It's
back
up to
up
like
a little bit.
710. I checked.
But, so I don't know. I don't know. I just went. If anything, like I said, I looked at some older guys. I mean, I bought the 1967 Lou Alcindor rookie card. I bought that one. It's not in great shape, but I like to send it in PSA just because it'll probably get like PSA 3 or PSA 4.
So what are you saying? It's not good in the short term, but I mean it's still great in the long term. Like you said,
it wasn't
you
an
could buy the
overall
Tim
thing.
Duncan.
It's like, yeah, I just was a little down on it. I'm like, it's like maybe 2 because I followed cards for so long. So it's like now it's just like so much fluctuation. Like I remember when you used to be able to find value on stuff, and now they're just not value. And there's only so many guys. Like I said, now to the point where
I'm sure it's still out there.
Yeah, but you'd be surprised, bro. Gary Vaynerchuk, Bill Simmons, Vegas Dave, Logan Paul. It's there's businesses now looking at cards. You know, people are in the shoe business who can't make as much shoe business, so you know you can't find. And again, guys who are worth value, people are seeing the same stat lines. It's hard right now, but I do like. And again, if I were thinking some old guys, the more and more I thought of it, it's like who do I like? And I looked at some Tim Duncan rookies, some Allen Iverson rookies, and I guess they were at like 250 when I was looking at them. By the time they sold, they were like 550. I was like, damn, I would have caught them for like 300. But or even like Chris Paul ones, like a PSA 9 Topps Chromes going for like 600.
I feel like guys, I don't know how the price of the card ups when the guys are out of the league, unless they died or something.
Time,
just time in general. Yeah.
Time. 20 years later, 40 years later, hard to get.
Yeah.
But that's where I'm at now. I'm going to get some Tim Duncan rookies, some guys who I liked. You know, some of the older guys I looked into, and, you know, again, I bought the Lou Alcindor, but you can't get any, like, Wilt Chamberlain ones or Bill Russells without paying an arm and a leg. Even, like, Dr. J or I wish I had that Michael Jordan still. Jesus Christ. Would have that one's going for so much. That one's sad.
A lot of things we've had.
Yeah, those ones are really sad, but
it's okay.
It's my only regret of selling all my cars, but you got to do what you got to do when you're out here in the streets, so...
Well, this is a great transition.
Okay, let's go.
There's another trending topic right now regarding cards, which are NFTs, which is another thing I learned from Gary Vaynerchuk and Logan Paul. For those that don't know what an NFT is, it's an acronym for non-fungible token. And basically, it's a digital asset that can function as a collectible that's encrypted with the artist's unique signature on the blockchain to verify its authenticity. So basically, it's a new avenue to collect the digital items. The biggest thing right now is like digital art and what was that brand of cards that just came out?
NBA Top Shot.
Top Shot. So you can collect cards this way, art this way, and it's a way to actually verify it. So it's like a legitimate thing. So there can be one of one, and you have the signature of whoever puts it out, you know. So it actually gives value to these things that previously wouldn't have value, where you could just copy and paste. But now it's a way to verify that it is from a certain source, you know.
So it's funny you brought that up. So first off, when I was in Disney World, my uncle brought it up to me. He brought up this Top Shot, and I had no idea when he brought it up at that point. And then that Sunday or Monday, I was listening to a podcast, and they brought it up. They brought somebody on there to talk about it, and I went on NBA Top Shot. As of last week, you couldn't even create an account. It was that busy. So they have these packs you can buy, but you can't buy the packs. And they're not even cards. They're digital. They're basically digital moments. So, like, their cheapest one is, like, JaVale McGee making a block. But the cheapest, like, $800, $880 for, like, the cheapest one. Imagine, like, LeBron hitting the big shots.
Well, the hype is real right now.
Well, the hype is real. So, but you can't buy any packs. We want to buy some packs. That's the thing we're waiting for. So what's funny is...
so you're talking about the cards individual. So
well, they call them packs, but it's just digital media pictures in the pack.
Right.
So what's funny is is that clear? No. Well, as of this morning at 7:58, you are in. Now get the collection started. I just created my account this morning.
Oh, really?
I woke up. He didn't tell me he was bringing this up, but I woke up to a text that Chris texted me last night. Top Shot just allowed me to sign up at 9:09 yesterday. But he's been looking at it more and more.
Yeah, I've been looking at it a lot. And for a lot of people, it doesn't really make sense how something digital can have value. But if you're into gaming, or you have a son that's in gaming, like Hendrix, he only wanted coins to buy Fortnite skins over everything, you know.
And if you pay attention to trends, it makes sense to me personally.
No, but for like older people, they're like, how is this picture on the phone worth anything? You know what I mean? But like for me, I played CS:GO, and for those who play CS:GO, there's skins that can get up to $10,000 for a certain rarity of skin. So I've been kind of in the game of digital assets being worth something, you know. So but now it's just going into more mainstream things like artwork and there's this art piece from this guy called Beeble. His real name's Mike Winkelman, and he's a digital designer, and he sold this thing called The First 5,000 Days. He sold his art piece for $69 million, and it's a compilation of 13 years of his artwork. He did a piece of art, digital art, every single day for 13 years, and it just sold for $69 million. Wow.
I heard a story like that too. A guy was selling his painting for like $90 or something, and barely could get people to buy it. Put it on there, and he's selling it for like crazy amount.
Yeah, well, and again with Logan Paul, before he did the Pokemon card opening thing, he released his own little NFT, which is like this little anime version of him opening like a Pokemon version of him kind of thing, and he was selling it for an Ethereum a piece for each NFT, and he made $5 million off of it.
Well, that's the one thing too that's hard. The Ethereum stuff is because you can't withdraw money out when you sell something, because banks are still going to look at it like you're purchasing cryptocurrency, because banks still aren't allowing you to purchase cryptocurrency. That's why you have to go through like these third parties.
Yeah, we can use Coinbase and stuff, and you can sell your Ethereum. But I mean, this is just a move more towards getting more into the digital world.
World in general.
Yeah. But I mean, there's big money. $69 million. You know, the first thing
I told you, the cheapest picture, you can't buy anything for under $800
Which
for
those
trash.
Are probably overvalued. There's just I mean, in
that's
the
why we said we should wait till
packs.
packs. We should just buy packs and see what comes in. It's not worth buying.
Yeah,
but what I read though, you have to own one of the moments to be able to buy a pack.
Oh wow. Yeah.
So
the thing is, like what you're saying, the JaVale McGee, like, is that even it's probably not going to go up in value. You'd have to get like the Zions and like the guys that actually have potential. It's the same with cards. Yeah. You know? But I think those are.
I mean, you own the rights to that video forever, and then if anyone ever wants to use it, but that's why you want LeBron, Luka, and they're just so expensive right now.
Yeah, and they can make it. They can put out a certain amount. Like you can have 10 of one thing. You can have 10 art pieces. Like you can have it like cards like that. You know, like if you get a card that's 1 out of 20, that's worth more than a card 1 out of 500. You know, it's called. There's actually a terminology for it. I actually have a decent amount of notes.
Yeah, I was gonna tell you, create your NBA Top Shot account too. I literally just created it this morning.
It's called Artificial Scarcity of Digital Creative Work with a Unique Signature. Yeah, so it's the same thing. If you're familiar with collecting cards, they have them numbered to a certain amount. So they only release a certain amount of cards, and the higher number you have, the better, Well, the lower number you have.
Could they have like a common pack here? It's sold out, and even the packs for $199, the Rising Stars, they're all sold out too.
Mm-hmm.
This is during a beta. Drop times will vary, so make sure you watch for announcements. They'll drop announcements via email.
And this is just the beginning with this type of stuff,
See, look, all sold out. See, all
nice.
sold out. But they still have stuff on here.
Yeah.
I was looking at the JaVale McGee one. Let me just pull up a random one.
But digital art's the biggest thing that's selling on there, which I have no eye for art.
Well, that's what I'm saying. This would be something more for us. I would want basketball moments. Like, if I'm going to do it, let me get something I actually like.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Mm-hmm. But the biggest thing right now is the digital artwork, and there's like a picture of a dog that sold for $1 million. Like, I don't have the eye for art to know like what to buy and resell.
Right.
There's nothing. I was looking at things from like 1,000, a couple thousand to see if anything would be worth investing in. But I have no clue like what artist is a prodigy that's gonna blow up. You know what I mean? But the thing is, they do have domain names, so you can buy domains of cryptocurrency wallets, and it's like buying a domain name for a website.
Right.
So there's ones like chase.crypto or something that were going for like 600,000, crazy numbers. So it's like in the beginning of the internet where there's that big domain rush to purchase all the domains up. You can still do that right now with cryptocurrency wallets. So the first thing I thought of is how can I make money with it?
Right.
You know what I mean? And with the artwork, I can't see me buying artwork. And the cards, they're like, there's too much hype around it right now, and it needs to die down a little bit. But the only thing that looked interesting with making money were the domain names.
Yeah. Again, this would be another, you have to sit on it for a while. But so like I pulled up this LeBron, just random him dunking, and there's 561 for sale. The lowest asking price is 1,595. The top sale is 18,500. Mm-hmm. And this is just a random him just dunking on a breakaway in a Clippers game. Let me see it, but.
And right now it seems crazy, but like Apple is supposed to have some augmented reality glasses in 5 years. So imagine like instead of showing someone a real life card, everyone has the same interface through some glasses and you just pop it up. You know what I mean? Like the quicker we get into like these virtual reality worlds and augmented reality, which are just 5 years away, then things like this are going to make more sense,
Elon Musk Neuralink type random shit.
That's even way further along when we get the chip. But Apple, Google, everyone's competing. That's the next big thing from smartphones. Once smartphones were released, it was the big like tech evolution. But the next thing is augmented reality. So it's going to be having the glasses or the contacts, and you can fuck around with real life and have gestures that pop shit up,
Instead of a bookshelf of a library, you can have a bookshelf of digital art and digital media.
Right. Yeah. So it's interesting. It's the next big push.
I'm happy you brought that up. We didn't even talk about it.
Yeah, I know. And that's another thing. Like, whenever Gary Vaynerchuk says something, he's right. Like,
yeah, he has this.
Since I've been following him, he hasn't missed on anything. Like I wasn't following him when he projected Google ads being as big as they were, but Google ads, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, everything, TikTok, even rappers like Russ, like he has his finger on the pulse. So whenever Gary says something, I typically try to dive into, because he has like an undefeated prediction record.
Right. He's been talking about it a lot lately.
Yeah, that's been.
You said Logan Paul was too.
Well, I mean, Logan Paul actually jumped in and created his own NFT, made $5 million off of it. Damn. Yeah, so I mean, it's the next thing.
All right, let's go. Do you have more?
Not regarding that. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have another topic? Because I do have something silly.
Okay, let's just. Do you have any Grammy takes?
No.
Okay, Nas won Best Album, King's Disease. That was the only thing that was.
They're trying to buy people back, so they're giving.
Yeah. Well, but it was. But the thing was, it had Nas, Royce da 5'9".
Oh, you know what? Yeah, I did see Royce.
Jay Electronica was on it. Written testimony. Alfredo guy. What's his name? Drawing a blank. Freddie Gibbs was on it. So they actually had good selections, but they gave.
They're trying. They're trying to get back into the culture a little bit, but it's not. I don't think it's working.
Yeah. So they gave Nas, King Disease. The only thing other cool was Jay-Z and Beyonce came up like hella late. They showed up like when it was almost. They showed up when it was almost over. That picture was hard. You know that picture. Jay has like black glasses on, which is a black hoodie sweatshirt.
Let me look.
And Beyonce's all dressed up. But Jay-Z and Beyonce show up to Grammys. Yeah, they showed up like halfway through or some shit. You got an image of the scene.
Right here.
Yeah. Go.
Black.
Do this one right here, the top one.
Top,
one,
you gotta tell me
that
which
one.
part.
You're on it. See Jay with just his hoodie on.
Yeah, with the.
I saw a better picture too. You can see a better angle, but.
Hmm.
Oh, you can go to this one over here to the bottom right. 17 hours ago, under that one.
No, I can't see where you're pointing, bro. It's through the screen.
It's okay. But you got the moral of the story. Yeah. They came hella late. That was the only thing that was cool. It was more for my 6-year-old son. He wanted to keep watching. He knew all the songs. That shit was so corny. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't really watch that type of stuff.
I'm good on the Grammys. All right, let's go into our favorite songs, or do you want to do the other topic?
Let's do our favorite songs. All right. Then we can end on that.
Okay. So, favorite song, I'll do my number one. It's called All These People. It's I Am Keynotes is the artist, featuring Drake. You do your first.
Okay. Both of mine are completely out of left field.
Okay.
But my first one is D Smoke Sade. Do you know who D Smoke is?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Yeah. So that's my one. He was on the Spotify artist push.
He was in a Spotify
I've
exclusive.
been looking for music all week. Nothing that sparked my
interest song's good?
was really released. Yeah. It's good. I watched that show. I forget what show that with Chance the Rapper, Cardi B. What was that called?
It was on Netflix, and they were like,
it was actually a good show.
Yeah,
I'm
loved
actually
it.
excited for season 2. It was, but I love D Smoke, so I always try to show him love. I haven't really liked most of the songs he put out, but I did like this one. So that's my first one.
Second song, we're gonna do the Thanksgiving thing separate. Benny the Butcher and Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we'll do that off.
All right, so I wrote down my second favorite song. That is Benny the Butcher. It's with Harry Fraud. I guess Harry Fraud is a producer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Benny the Butcher and Harry Fraud, Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. Benny the Butcher gets in his bag on that one. We're going to do a little video breakdown on that after this. So.
Then another one out of left field. This is actually a grime artist who I never heard of, Billy Billions, and the song's called Tizzy. Actually pretty hard.
Yeah.
I check out Grime Daily every once in a while, and I won't watch all of them, but I'll see one that are popping off, and I had like 300,000 views in a few days. So I gave it a shot, and it was pretty good.
You like that stuff.
I love grime.
You've always got the grime, yeah.
Well, like sometimes American shit gets boring. And
no,
there's some hard rappers in the underground and the grime scene that, you know.
Yeah.
I found Stormzy. I found a bunch of guys that I love that are grime guys, you know.
There's been a couple popping up I haven't told you on my release radar.
Mm-hmm. So those are my two.
Do we have anything more on this, or we good?
No, I do have another thing, though. I pre-ordered this book, Jordan Peterson, Beyond Order. This is the first thing I've pre-ordered other than Call of Duty in my adult life. And there's one rule. I'm going to do an actual decent video breakdown on this probably this week. I'm on 293 out of like 360. But I wanted to give you this rule and see what you thought of it. It's rule 2. It's one of my favorite ones. Imagine who you can be and then aim single-mindedly at that. So I wanted to know if you ever like actually have a vision of like who you want to be or a goal set that like you keep in mind, or you're just like a big goofy looking just a fucking
so it says so the line is keep in mind who you want to be and keep a single focus on it.
Imagine who you can be and then aim single-mindedly at that. Mm-hmm. So I was just curious if you've ever even had a vision or a picture of who you wanted to be in the future, or you just are pushed around by the wind and fucking.
I think through moments of my life there was people, you know, who I looked up to.
Not people. I'm saying you as an like a version of you that you like aspire to be. Like, have you ever had a vision of yourself in the future of like having a different way, or do you just fucking walk around?
No, I mean the key for a long time is just to keep getting better, to keep evolving, to keep growing. I've never seen like a final end game or.
It's not even an end game. Yeah. So you're just saying you just try.
I think the goal is you trust the process and keep getting better, and you'll become who you're supposed to be. But yeah, I haven't seen like a final picture of myself or nothing.
It's not, yeah.
But yeah, my thing would just be keep getting better each day and. Wherever we go, we go.
But like you have a goal in mind, though. Like the reason why you want to get better is because you want to get to a certain place, right? Or is it just to get better? Because there's been times in my life, and I'm sure in yours, that you weren't getting better during that time, you know?
Yeah.
So his point is, like, if you have an ideal picture of who you want to be in the future, it gives you something that you can continually press on to and inspire to be, you know? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And his point is when most people get lost in life is when they like lose sight of that and the goals they want to achieve, you know. Mm-hmm. There's a quote from Viktor Frankl, which I read his book recently too. That was amazing. That was the one that was in the Nazi camp the psychologist. Did I tell you about that?
Mm-mm.
It was a psychologist in the what are those camps called during Nazi Germany?
Concentration camp.
Concentration
You would read
camp.
a Nazi
He was a
book.
psychologist in the concentration camp, and he wrote a book about how he survived. Whatever.
Uh-huh.
The quote is, "When a person can't find a deep sense of meaning, they distract themselves with pleasure."
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any take on that?
Yeah, I hear
What do
you.
think?
Yeah. I don't know how deep we're gonna get here, but yeah.
Yeah.
I
You have no
feel you.
take?
Nah.
No.
Say it again. I'll give you my best take here. Quick.
When a person can't find a deep sense of meaning, they distract themselves with pleasure.
That sounds right. Yeah. And again, on a deeper now, especially that now that I'm a dad too, you know, I've learned multiple things. If you really want me to get into it, I think the purpose, you're just basically that's my purpose. So I don't see this end goal, but I do strive to be a man of character and have honor and live with integrity each day, and to be a father. Now that I'm a father, I do believe the most important thing is being a father to your kids. And for me personally, being the best man of character that I can be. And in that will impact the people that it's supposed to impact.
That's basically the point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the best. I don't see an end goal, but I do know I got to be a better man every day, keep building my character, raising my children, taking care of my wife.
Habit stacking. That's what Eric Thomas was just saying. Habit stacking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, in that I have my tools, jujitsu and getting rest and eating right and drinking a lot of water. These little parts of the recipe, and if I do that every day, you got
consistent habits.
Consistent habits. Just trust the process, and we'll see where it takes us.
Well, I'm gonna be doing a deeper dive in this book this week, but it's been amazing so far. I only have like 60 more pages, so.
Jordan Peterson, Beyond Order.
Yes, sir.
12 More Rules of Life.
Well, that's it.
All right, that's it. KandiShow episode 7. Hopefully we didn't have any audio issues. What did we hit?
We are at an hour. Exactly.
Hour? Nice, perfect. Hour's always our goal. Like, subscribe, do all that. We got our biggest video last week, so let's keep it pushing. KandiShow episode 7. Yeah.
Adios.